Michael. Now, I've had quite a few people when I've played ask what I use and what I do to achieve the tone I have. I was in a band for a while, so I always had people coming up after shows asking the pedals I use, kind of settings, what I had on them, and my amp. And when I play at church, I get that sometimes. So I figured I'd do a board overview, seeing I've had a couple people ask for it, and kind of explain what I use, how I use it, and try and keep it kind of short and to the point. Playing a Fender USA Cabronita with TV Jones, pickups, Emerson custom wiring, going into a Risen Eclipse stereo amp with a Meds cab, which has two vintage 30s in it, mic'd with two E906s from Sennheiser. Signal chain goes either from the Line 6 G50 or quarter-inch in. I use the G50 live in quarter-inch when I'm rehearsal or practice. From there it goes to a JHS ABY, which splits it so I can go between, just so I'm not unplugging stuff. It goes into the Ernie Ball Volume Pedal Junior, which is modded by JHS for the Tone Suck mod. Out of there it goes to the Polytune, out of the tuner out, and then for the main out it goes into a Blackeye effects Palmetto. Then it goes into a Bondi effects Sick As overdrive. From there I go to the JHS Superbolt, which is based off a Supro amp. Out of that I go to a clean boost up at the top. Guy made it, found it on eBay, it was cheap. Love how it enhances my tone, so I use it. Out of there I go to the Electro Harmonix Micro Pog. Out of there I go to the TC Electronics Nova Repeater. It's a delay. I use it more for volume swells, and that starts my stereo chain. Out of there I go into the Eventide Timefactor, which I have T1M aux switch, so I have tap and then up and down for the banks. And then as well for time I can control it with, I have a Sail FX Quartz pedal, which you can program 120 songs into this, so set list wise it works out great because then you're not sitting there tap dancing all that trying to tap your songs in, so you just program your set list and then you just hold and it changes. Time factor, I have my primary delay is a ducking delay, which the right side is going to be a dotted eighth and the left side is going to be an eighth note with a triplet trail. Just something I like having the triplet there. Out of there I go into a TC Electronics Trinity Reverb's T1. T2 has some changed algorithms to it and it's not super popular, so I've decided to just stay with the T1. I like the Ethereal one preset, and then I use the tone print every now and then. Have the oversized knob so I can control the reverb live, so if I want a little more wet sound I can do that, and if not I can just cut it. Out of my board it goes into a Blackeye FX Imperium stereo interface, kind of radial SGI-esque, and that converts it to XLR so I can run my amp off stage, backstage, wherever it needs to be, and crank it. Little overview, I guess we'll start with the delays and how I use them. We'll go with the reverb by itself and just kind of get a ambient sound, or where I mainly leave it. So this would be just what I use most of the time. Not a whole lot, but it's kind of there, so if you're chugging along playing some rhythm stuff, it's not going to be overpowering. Sometimes I dial it back a little bit, but that's pretty much my standard setting, so kind of just a basic chord progression. So that kind of gives me a shimmer-esque effect. When I want the really ambient stuff, I just slide it up, and then you can get the more wet, ambient, distant. So this would be where I'd add the delay. And then if I want to do the swell, just come off that. So even with the spillover on it, still you can hear it, and it kind of pulsates, so it's not just a freeze of your sound, which is why I like using that, so it kind of gives it some life to it. If you're doing that and you kind of want that swell to be in the background, mainly how I use it, if I want a swell and have a sustained something or other in the background, then you can go into your song. You can still kind of hear it slightly dying off, but it's there, so it kind of fills the space, which is why I use it and I like it. Drive-wise, play the Bondi Sick As how I have it set. So this be clean. And the Sick As. So I have it not cranked, but it pushes my amp nicely, so that's how I use it, and I like it. That's kind of my main drive. So if you're playing Chris Tomlin-esque, gives a nice kind of crunch to it, but it's not the digital sound, if you will. JHS, I have it set so it's not necessarily clean, but it's not where the Sick As is, so clean toned. And the Superbolt. So that sounds more natural amp breakup, which is why I have it set there. That's kind of, if I need something kind of more chill for a slower song, it'll give me that, so you can get the and then if you want the hair, that's where I use it. That's what I like. Palmetto boost is just kind of a tone enhancer for me. Clean tone booster. I play a lot of tellies, so it's nice to have something to kind of thicken up a single coil. The push me boost up at the top is something I labeled kind of the same way, but a little bit more mid-tone. And this with it. So that's how I use that. That's kind of my drive section. Pog is not anything crazy. More for lead lines and swells, so you can kind of get that's kind of how I use my board. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Like, rate, subscribe. Love to hear you guys' feedback and how I can improve my videos. Thanks for watching.